morning, everyone. Thanks for taking the time on a Saturday to attend the session. And also thanks to the Bangalore Power Platform user group for this opportunity. So we'll get started. The thing is, I just want to have a quick, understanding, like how many of you have heard about Copilot Studio or worked on Copilot Studio. Just can you raise your hands, or can let me know. Yeah, I mean to say, hey, raise in the sense, yeah, the React one, raise your hand, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, okay. So this session, let me just go back 1 second. Yeah. Okay. So just a brief introduction of myself. I'm a business applications MVP. I'm a director at Curve Digital. So I publish a newsletter every week on Copilot Studio and the related technologies. I also have a YouTube channel, and this is my LinkedIn. So if you would like to subscribe or the channel or newsletter, feel free. Yeah, just give a second and then I'll start it. Okay. So to start with, I mean, what is a Copilot Studio agent, right? So an agent is in Copilot Studio is an experience what you build using the Copilot Studio tool, right? So what it can do, it can interact with the user. It can retrieve information for a user, by interaction, or it can perform a task. The user can interact with it and perform a task like a request, a travel request, and so on and so forth on behalf of the user. Or it can run autonomously, right? Independently. You just give it the instructions, so it can automate the business process. So these are at a high level. These are agents. It can be a retrieval, as I said, the first one. You can retrieve information and interact with the user, or they can perform a task. That's a task agent. And the third one is autonomous, which can use AI to autonomously execute the task on behalf of the user. Okay. So in this session, what we are going to do is we are not going to go for the different types of agents. We are focusing on the multi-agent functionality that was introduced. The thing is here, initially when the Copilot Studio, when it was released, you would have only created one agent, but you could not connect agents with each other. So what this functionality gives is there are two parts to it. One is the connected agent. What you can do is you can create a Copilot Studio agent with its own knowledge and tools, and then you can connect to the agents, which can either be a Copilot Studio agent, or you can create a Fabric agent, and can connect to a Azure Foundry agent or a M365 agent SDK. So please bear in mind, as of now, you can only connect to Copilot Studio agents as well as Fabric agents. These two are still not available. Connecting to a Azure Foundry or a M365 agent SDK are not available. That is one type of agent, multi-agent scenario you can do. Or what you can do within an agent, a master or a parent agent, you can have a child agent which will do its own task. So here, I mean, to summarize, there are two types of agents. One is a child agent, which sits within a parent agent, and then another is a connected agent. Okay. So this is pretty much to say the same thing. I mean, when you see the demo, you'll see this change. The screen has changed yesterday. Just yesterday, when I was looking at it, this has changed. I mean, that shows the pace of changes. What is happening in this tool. So yeah. So as I already touched upon, as of now, you only have connect to a Copilot Studio agent or a Azure AI Foundry agent. Sorry, Fabric agent. So yeah. So the thing is, the question comes: when should I use a child agent versus a connected agent, right? The good way to do that is, let's say you have a single developer working on this agent, and everything is all interconnected, right? So you can be a part of one agent squad or a solution. Then you can go for a child agents, right? But if you want to have different teams working on different agents, and then and then you need to have like a master agent, which actually, connects to it. That can also be done. That's where you use a connected agent, wherein you can use a agent independently, or you can, I'm talking about the user wise. You can use it independently, or you can use it together with other agents. That is one. Or the same thing also applies to developers, right? Developers can create their own solution for a separate. Each agent will be a separate solution, a deployment unit, and then they can work independently on that. So in both ways, right? So these are two types of agents. Since if you create a separate solution, the ALM or application lifecycle management also will be for this separately for each agent. Whereas for a child agent, they all go together. The ones which are child agents for the parent agents, when you deploy the parent agent, the child agents also go together. Whereas connected agent, you can deploy them independently, right? And a good example for that would be, when would I choose? Typically, let's say there are employees, right? Employees, there'll be contract or permanent employees. For permanent employees, you may give the agent
sorry to interrupt, but people are seeing first slide only, and same for
myself.
Oh,
is it? So, okay. Let me, sorry. Let me reshare. Sorry about that.
Yeah, now we can see which should I use. So
yeah, let me know if yeah, is it can you see now?
Yeah, now we are on slide 6. So would be better if you can turn on the presenter mode, so it will be easier for us to.
Okay. Second.
The icon at the very bottom, like the next to the Zoom one, will be turn on your full screen. So you see that pyramid kind of icon would be easier. Bottom Zoom and bottom
sorry,
Zoom. You see that?
Didn't get it.
You're at the bottom. Check at the bottom of your screen.
Try to zoom the slide. Zoom the slide. Bottom ribbon. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bottom ribbon.
Yeah, you can see it now. This one. Okay, you're saying okay. Present in team. This one you're saying.
No. Bottom, not top. Bottom.
You see the Zoom icon. Or I think just do control.
Let's continue. I'm not going to waste time. Let's come back.
Yeah, bottom right corner.
That's fine. Can you? I mean, I don't want to waste any time again. Can you see that?
Yeah, that's fine. As long as we are on slide 6. Just
okay.
And I
this is what I was telling, right? Just trying to repeat it. I think it's basically the having a child agent versus a connected agent, right? Child agent, if you look from the developer wise, if you have a single developer, working on the solution, and they're all, connected, so you can just make it one single unit, deployable unit or a solution. There you can use the child agent one, whereas a connected agent, where here each agent can be a separate deployable unit or a solution, right? So, and developers also can work independently. And a good example would be like a contract versus a permanent employee, right? A permanent employee may have an agent, a master agent, which can access all the connected agents, in the company. Whereas a contract employee, you want to only give access to one connected agent. Depends on that's one use case. Simple use case you can think of, to clearly understand when should you use which. Okay. So I'm just moving on to the next one. Akshash, can you see the orchestration patterns slide?
We are still on slide 6.
See. Okay. Now is it?
Yeah,
visible?
It's
okay.
It's visible now.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, anyway, that's fine. There are a few orchestration patterns you can, you can remember when you design agents. One is a sequential one, where you want to execute the agents in a specific order. That is where you look at a sequential pattern. The handoff one, pattern is where, let's say, a master agent will hand off whatever task to one of the agents based on whatever rules, right? So that is the handoff pattern. And the last one is the group chat pattern. In the sense, let's say it's more like a chat, right? So a good would be an editor and a reviewer. So they can, they can be multiple, iterations where, let's say, give a document for the editor to review. Sorry, the reviewer. So the author and the reviewer can have more like a group chat kind of a conversation or a pattern. So those are the at a high level. Those are the multiple patterns which you can think of when using agents. So I'll switch to demo now. Let me know if you guys can see. I'll stop sharing. I'll share the screen again. Okay. Do that. Yeah, can you see my edge screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's start with the first one. Here, this is the agent. It's called the review agent squad. As I mentioned earlier, right? So let's say you have some content to review. Okay, so what you can do, this agent squad you can use for any kind of a content, right? A blog or any kind of a content you want to write, article or stuff like that. So here there are multiple agents which perform their own task. A lawyer agent will look after the legal stuff. What are the legal implications, what we need to change, and SEO agent will look after more. What do you need to do for any search engine changes? What are the best way to write? What are the keywords there? And then a content review agent will look at only looks at the content part of it, right? So it's not any legal or anything. Is the content fine? Is it for the right audience and stuff like that? And finally, based on all these three comments, what we do, it'll a content rewriter agent will go ahead and rewrite the content. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just it's already here, but so here I'm want the agent to review the content for a blog article, right? So just invoke that. So if you can see here, I'd already initially invoked it. So if you can see, it starts from the lawyer agent, right? So lawyer agent is invoked now. Yeah, so this is the query and then the response from it. So it will come back with the output there. Yeah. And then next it will go to the SEO agent now. So it will make sure we have the right keywords or SEO keywords, so that for the search engine optimization, the stuff is taken care of. Just give us a few seconds. Next is the content review. So this is the output. That. And finally, there'll be a content rewriter agent, right? So these are the agents it does in a sequence, right? So this is a sequential agent pattern, which is a sequential pattern. And here, if you can see what it has done, it went through all these agents. And finally, the rewriter agent, it actually went ahead and rewrote this thing. Okay. So I'll just switch to the how I created it. So I'll not go and create it because time. So what we have a review agent squad, because it's a squad and it's a squad of agents which work together to perform a content review. So I'm using the default GPT 4.1 model for this, right? So the important thing is the instructions here. If you can see, I'm saying this is a sequential pattern, right? I'm asking the agent to follow these steps strictly. These 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? The first is the lawyer agent, right? Once it will take through the contents of lawyer agent, it will not go to the next step until this is completed. Then it will invoke the SEO agent, second. So third, it will invoke the content review agent to do a content review. And fourth, it will do a content rewriter agent, which combines the comments from all the agents and then rewrites the whole article. Okay, so let me go one by one. I'll start with the lawyer agent. So this is the child agent. So before going there, if you can see, these are all child agents, right? There are 4 child agents, and this is their main agent, right? So that's the relationship. And let me go and this one, yeah. So this is a lawyer agent. So the main thing here is the description. You're saying you're a lawyer, you perform legal review, blah blah blah, right? So based on this, it actually invokes the agent, right? The orchestrator. There's something called an orchestrator. The initial diagram I just showed you earlier, right? So the main thing here is it's the orchestration. So you give it the description, you give it the agent, the agent's tools. Tools I'm not using here, but anyway, all the thing is the orchestrator is the brain, which uses the LLM. Here it is GPT 4.1 and it makes a plan, right? Okay, this is what the user has asked, this is the plan, and then it looks at the instructions and it actually comes together and say this is the plan I have to do, and does it step by step. So the orchestrator, the main thing here is here if you see this is the important thing. The agent chooses based on the description here. So the description here is very important here. And then finally we have the instructions, right? You're saying act as a lawyer. You take the lawyer persona and perform a legal review of the content, and you provide the review comments here. In this instance, we are not giving any knowledge or anything like that, but in different use cases, we can also provide knowledge for the child agents as well as any specific tools or stuff. We can do it. In this, we are not using any of the knowledge or the tools. Okay, that was the lawyer agent. The next one is the SEO agent. So this one, if you can see the instructions, is a simple one. It just provides the SEO comments based on the content which was provided. That's that. And the third one is the content review agent. So it acts as a content reviewer and it reviews the content for effectiveness, relevance, and clarity, right? And then gives the comments. And the fourth one is the content rewriter. So based on the comments as a content rewriter, you rewrite the content based on all the 3 legal, SEO, and the content review thing. So that's pretty much it. This is the review agent squad, which uses like 4 child agents, and it also uses the the sequential orchestration pattern. As you see here, it only strictly follows this sequence. Okay. Yeah. So I just move to the second one. Yeah. So let me go here. Okay. So this one is a platform agent squad. Basically, this is a group of agents. It assesses developers, not only developers. I mean, it assesses to the whole testers and developers during the Power Platform project development lifecycle. You can use this. Okay, so I'll start with there are multiple agents here. So I'll start with, let me show you. I'll just show you all the agents we have, right? So we have the user story agent, which generates the stories. We have a test case agent, which creates manual test cases. Then solution design. Can anyone go on mute, please? I hear it background. Okay, thank you. So a solution design agent for a user story, this will actually generate the solution design. And we also have a PCF control agent, which generates PCF control based on the instructions, the user whatever wants. And then the Dynamics plugins and workflows, they generates Dynamics plugins and workflow based on the instructions given the user. The Playwright automated test agent. So if you give a manual test case, this will create the code for an automated agent using Playwright, right? And the last but not the least, the client script agent, which actually generates the client script for your scenario, JavaScript for your scenario. So these are all the agents, and these are, if you look at, these are all child agents, right? Working under the Power Platform agent squad. Okay, so let me start one. Okay. So let's see. I'm saying generate 10 user stories this is the use case I'm using. This is just a suggested prompt we can use based on your requirements. But I'm saying generate 10 user stories for a membership CRM without the acceptance criteria and description. So I'm saying without, because by default it generates based on instructions. When I show the instructions, you'll get it. So by default it generates with user story along with the acceptance criteria and the detailed description of the user story, right? So let's give that. So if you can see, it has invoked the user story agent now, because I'm asking it to generate a user story. So what we can do, I mean, you can take this, I just copy it, right? And you can use this along with the plan designer, right? So Para plan designer. So you can use that along with that. So this can, because you already have your user stories, you can actually use this to create we can use the basis for the user stories, right? So that's one. Just move on to the next. Yeah. So we generated a user story without acceptance criteria. I'm asking it to generate I'll give it a user story and generate, let's say I have one specific user story and I need the acceptance criteria for it. So what I can do is I can ask the agent to give me the acceptance criteria, right? Generate that. So it actually invokes that. Okay. Moving on. The next one. Then I can also generate a design. Let's say I have a user story, right? In my Azure DevOps or Jira, I have a user story. I want to have the design for the user story. So yeah, that can give you the design. I mean, this is just this is anyhow for any agent, right? This is basically, there may be errors and stuff like that. This is just a pointer, right? I mean, you have to do your own design. This is just a helper where it'll give you a direction, but I would strongly advise, it's not like verbatim, you take whatever it says, right? It may make mistakes, but yeah, it'll just there to give you at least, a direction. You can actually take the appropriate decision what to do with that, okay? So that's the design. Then the next one I would do is the test case one. So I have my user story and the acceptance criteria, right? So I want to generate a test case, a manual test case for it. So here is the manual test case it generates. So if you can see, you can, yeah, it did invoke the test case agent. In the last step, I didn't come here, but it had invoked the solution design agent. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I'll also ask it to I'll say PCF control for colored text box. So this will actually give me so as you can see here, I mean, for everything, it'll generate a plan, what it needs to do, and then it'll execute the plan. And if you can see, it invoked the PCF control agent, and it has a reason for a rationale or a reason for it to invoke it. So, and you can also see what is the input the user asked, creating a PCF control for a text box, and the output you have. This is the output, and here you can see it has given up the code for you for that, right? And it also shows the rationale or the reasoning why would it pick this agent or whatnot, so that you're clear why it made a decision. That's very important, right? If something if you find it's not really invoking the agent, what's the rationale? I mean, we can also maybe tweak the description and stuff like that, so that that helps there. Okay, so this is the Power Platform Agent Squad. I mean, there are a few more. I mean, I don't want to go into each and every one. Yeah, so we can also generate a playwright test case, plugins and stuff like that. But for now, I'll skip that. So you can still do that. So you can use this in conjunction with the Power Apps Plan Designer, because this only gives has its own agents, right? It will it'll show the business process, the tables and stuff like that. So here you can use it for generating the good first draft of the test cases, and if you're writing playwright test scripts, the testers can use that also, right? Both for manual test cases as well as the automated ones. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll switch. No, okay. I don't want to switch now. I just want to show you the individual agents, one by one. I think I showed how it works, but I just want to show you the instructions and stuff like that. So this is a user story agent. This is the description. You're saying act as a user story. This is the persona you're giving it, and you're saying how you want to, do it, as a whatever persona I want this functionality, so this is the format. And as I told you earlier, here I'm also asking to provide it not only the summary user story, but also a detailed user story as well as the acceptance criteria for each requirement. And I'm giving the format also, right? So based on that, it will generate the user stories. This is one. We run through the test case agent. So here you can see the instructions. Yeah, the test case, all the instructions here, and I also have an example. So this is another thing to remember. The thing is, when you give the instructions, you can initially what I showed you was a zero shot. Zero shot means you're not giving any examples, right? Zero shot means examples here. So here it's a single shot. You are giving an example, right? So in that case, it will actually not only the instructions, it will also look at the examples, so it'll be more accurate, right? So here that's an example. You're also saying what it should do, a test case agent. In what format, as well as I'm also giving example user story and stuff like that, and what it should do. Okay, that's a test case one. And the next one is the design agent. I'm asking it to only use the Power Platform technologies for do it. I mean, so that it is very specific to that. It's not like very generic and it will generate any kind of technical solution for it, because our focus is more on the Power Platform technologies here. And this is the PCF controls one. Here I'm actually giving the instruction what to do, what technology to use, and also I'm giving one of the. This is where I use the knowledge source also, because if you are coming from Power Platform background, you know that PCF Gallery is a set of open source PCF controls available. I'm also giving it as a knowledge base for it, right? So you can also look at that, and based on that, it can create the controls. Okay, yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm not going through the plugins. Yeah, that's also similar. Instructions would be we give a kind of a similar instructions there. So, okay, so I'm done with the Power Platform Agent Squad. So if you can see, I mean, just to summarize here, this is also kind of a, this is the child agent. If you can see, this is the parent agent, and you can see all these are child agents here. Okay, and the next is the employee assist agent. So employee assist agent basically has 3 agents, right? As you can see, one important difference here is all these are connected agents. Okay, and each one of it is a separate Copilot Studio agent. So what I've done, this employee assist is like a master agent which is connected to each individual agents here, right? So you can, as I told you, just to recap, you can actually install HR Copilots, support agent, individually, just with a separate deployment, separate solution, and give access to those individual users, right? For example, what you can do is you may not give access to a contract number to HR Copilot. It's more for permanent employees, for example. Whereas the IT support agent, will give access to both contract and permanent employees. Whereas a self-travel agent, let's say you want to do travel booking or something like only for permanent employees. So in that way, you can have individual agents you're given, and for this one, this whole agent squad, you can actually give it to the permanent employee, because they have access to both, the ones which are limited, restricted to the contractor, that they have full access, right? Whereas for the contractors, you just give an individual access for each individual agent. Okay, hope that it makes sense. Okay, let me one by one. So I see my company laptop won't connect to Wi-Fi. Yeah, please help me here. Okay, I think it's just, yeah, that is refreshed. Just give it a second. Yeah, let me see it start all over again. Yeah. So as you can see, it's actually invoked the IT support agent. That gives you the answer for this question, because this is a IT support question. So that is also based on description. I'll just go through that in a minute. Okay, it's fine. So now I'm asking it to give me, what are the places to visit for a trip, right? So if I go back, you can see it'll actually invoke this. Yeah, I think it has reached the limit because yeah, that's fine. Can let me go it again, because there are, I mean, this is just a trial instance. It hits the limit, because it's a trial. So yeah, that's why it gives that error. It's in a particular period of time. If you use more than that limit, it gives that error. So yeah, if you can see, I just create, if you to get over it, you can just create a new chat. I can just go here and say new session, then you can do it. So here you can see these are the top places you can visit during a 5-day trip and stuff like that, right? So if you go back to that, here you can see this invokes the safe travels agent, right? Now I'm just going to quickly go through the instructions. The main thing here is it's using the handoff pattern, right, which I mentioned earlier. So what it does, this parent agent depends on, let's say I ask common travel questions, it will hand off to a safe travels agent. If I ask the IT support questions, it hands off to the IT support agent. If I ask any leave related questions, it will hand off to HR Copilot. This is the handoff pattern, orchestration pattern which I touched upon earlier. And I can just quickly, yeah. So go through one of the agents, IT support agent. You can see this is the one. This is actually a agent which is an individual agent, which. Okay, show the safe travels one. Yeah, if you can see the safe travels one. This is based on the template what we have. So it actually gets all launched from this travel website. And yeah, these instructions, it answers questions about traveling, say both the international travel as well as domestic travel. So that's a thing. So this agent, we are connected to this agent from the other, the employee assist agent squad. Okay. So this is the third one. Just to recap, no, this is not the, yeah. So if recap, these are all connected agents. Okay. So yeah. So this is done with the employee assist agent. The last one, let's see, it comes up. Okay, then the last one was the group chat agent. Here, what I'm doing, here I am having two agents, a writer agent and editor agent. So it's more like a real two different persons, right? One guy writes this article, the other guy edits or reviews the article, right? So there's a back and forth, conversation or chat. You can call it like a Teams group chat. You can do. So let me ask to write a short story about a young magician, and you can see it here. It invoked the writer agent first, right? And the editor agent comes, that gets invoked now to review that. Right, and the writer agent, editor agent actually, they suggested a few tweaks to make. So again, the editor agent came up and then, made those changes, right? And finally, it is the editor agent approved it. So if you can see the conversation, it makes it, that's pretty clear, right? So this is the story written by the writer agent. and this is the review of the story. So it says all this is fine, and these are the suggestions for improvement, right? And the writer agent goes back and makes those changes, right? And then comes back, and then the next review it does and says, okay, hey, this is fine. All my review comments or have been addressed, so this is fine. I mean, so that's where the agent stops it here. So the way this works is basically is the in instructions. So what I'm saying is you can initiate a group chat. I'm giving the order. You start with the writer agent and the editor agent, and repeat it for a maximum of 3 times or until the editor agent says approved. So this is, you have to give the exit condition, right? Because I have to say it's not infinitely goes back and forth like forever, right? So what I'm saying, the maximum either the back and forth of the chat should be just 3 iterations, or whether if the editor agent says approved in the first iteration itself, yeah, you stop it. So this is a group chat orchestration pattern here. Okay, I think yeah, that's it from me. Yeah, I'm open for questions. Yeah, okay.
Guys, thank you very much, Sriram. And guys, if you have questions, I know you have lots of questions. I was reading the chat, so please raise your hand and we will take that in order for all the questions. Yes, Archita. Go on.
Hi, good morning, sir. Thank you so much for the session. It was really informative. But I've worked with the Copilot Studio platform, and I've had a couple of limitations. And I think, so when we say we're using Copilot together with the Power Automate, do we actually mean that the Power Automate is complementing the Copilot Studio's capabilities? Or is it like, especially, in areas where Copilot has its limitations? For example, we can talk about the code interpreter feature, which is to generate charts. But I see that when it is like deployed into our own Streamlit app or something like that, the functionality does not seem to work, especially when it is like published publicly without any authentication. So is there any other recommended way that we can perhaps host that? Is it like we can perhaps build a flow through Power Automate or like through the Power app, and then that's possible to like work? Is there something like that? That's one question.
Okay, yeah. The thing is, for your first question, the thing is, you can use a Power Automate flow, or it's up to you, right? You can use an agent. So there's something called, I think you already know this. You already have something called the agent flow. I mean, under the hood, it's pretty much Power Automate itself. You can see here but it has some more stuff which are not there in Power Automate. It's very the only difference between the agent flow and the Power Automate flow, I mean, just I'm summarizing, I'm not going into the details. This is more like a billing kind of a thing, right? What kind of license? This is, if you have a Copilot Studio license, this covers agent flow, covers that, right? You don't have to get a separate license, okay? Whereas if you have Power Automate flow, you can definitely invoke it from an agent, right? That nothing's stopping you. You can either call a agent flow or a Power Automate flow, but for a Power Automate flow, you would need a Power Automate as whatever license you would need, right? So that's that. So for your question, yes, you can invoke the agent flow or a Power Automate flow from the Copilot Studio. Yeah. So yeah, that's that.
Great, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So it sort of is like, because we can create flows both, like you mentioned, in Copilot Studio and Power Automate. So it sort of means like, is it the right way to think that I can reuse a particular flow across different projects? But
yeah,
if I create,
we can, right? So see, this is, if you look at, see, the thing is, Power Platform, it's a complements each other, right? If you look at it, like we have Power Automate and we have this. It was called PV earlier. We call it Copilot Studio, right? So it's all. If you look at it, it's each one complements each other, right? So it's like you are still within the Power Platform itself. You don't have to go to Pro Code. Yeah, definitely you can reuse the existing flows, whatever is needed. Here it's more how you can think about, like, if you already have a flow which is triggered by UI. This is more like another user interface, right? Kind of a thing. Agent, you can think more like a, I mean, user interface, another UI accessing the same flow, right? So yeah. And the other thing you can think of is it's more like an autonomous kind of an agent, right? Let's say I want to do something. You don't need all the demos I showed you is just a interaction based, right? So you can also have some kind of autonomous agent which doesn't need a user, right? It will get invoked for any kind of a event and stuff like that, correct? So for that, either there also what you can do, you can, if you really see when it invokes an agent, it will use internally Power Automate to actually invoke that event, right? For example, a good example, simplest example I can give is let's say I want to process email, right? When an email arrives in in the shared mailbox, you trigger it. Okay, so my autonomous agent. So that trigger event would be that. Okay, I'm opening only employee assist agent. I'm just showing, this is not autonomous one, but I'm just showing the trigger. So for autonomous agent, you give a trigger. So actually, when you say give a trigger, this actually creates a flow in the background. So what it does when that event occurs, it calls this agent, right? So that is also another way you can think of it. That's where the Power Automate flows or agent flows come into picture. Yeah, keep that in mind. Yeah. There's some background noise. Chance, I don't know why, for some reason. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Senthil, please
Yeah,
go on.
hey, yeah. Thanks for a nice session. I have a question regarding creating an agent. So let's say I want to create an agent and have the knowledge base as a SharePoint site. Now, when we do that, what access that the Copilot Studio will use for the SharePoint connectivity? Is it my access who created the agent, or who is going to use the agent, whose access it will use? So which means I'm trying to establish or create an agent with a particular SharePoint folder as a knowledge base.
Right. I mean, it depends on the security. I mean, I think it's typically what it will do. I mean, it depends on the security you set up, right? I mean, for each and every action, you can even give the Copilot author authentication, or you can use the user authentication. Okay. So depending on that, it will choose that. That's one. So let's say SharePoint access, you want. Typically, you would want the access to be given for the the users, whatever documents the user can access. But if you want like a policy and something like that, that authentication, for that you would need somewhere that everyone has that access to that. So yeah.
Okay, so which means, let's say I publish the SharePoint agent, and I publish to everyone in the organization. Let's assume that I publish to everyone. But let's say user A is not even having any access to that particular SharePoint site. So my understanding is the agent will not be working for him because he don't have access personally to that particular site. Is it correct or wrong?
Yeah, correct. That's correct, right? Because it's simple as that, right? The thing is, if you don't have access to that document, the thing is, it will use your access to to do it. Like whoever the logged in user, it will take that access, to do. If he doesn't have an access to the document, it will, it will not work. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thanks.
And Sriram, so one of the member in the chat is asking, is any of the agents, did you create a custom topic? Could you please put some insights on it?
Sure. See, the thing is, I mean, I'm just giving some background, right? So the way when we had Copilot Studio initially, right, we used to use topics a lot. There's no like, so we used to have a topic and then give a, the flow, right? What you ask the questions one by one. Okay, this is the a good example would be, I'll take a weather, right? So that's so that I can just give the classic orchestration versus the generative orchestration typically, right? So classic orchestration, let's say what I do, I have, let's say, a topic called weather. Okay, so in the weather topic, I give my flow. I don't want to call it flow. I'll say the steps. I don't want to confuse with the Power Automate flow. Yeah. So I can say, give me the city, right? What is the city we want to have the weather? Once you start that, let's say it invokes the weather topic. So in the weather topic, you say, give me the city, and then you'll come back with the temperature. Okay. This is what this is sunny, and then this is the temperature. Okay, fine. So that was classic orchestration. Whereas now, you have something called generative orchestration. So by default, the thing is, if you enable the generative orchestration, so what it does, the orchestration actually takes over. Okay, it takes over and it actually figures out, this is what I was talking about, right? Use generative orchestration. This is the main important setting for agent in responses, or use classic orchestration, correct? So what happens is, earlier it was a classic orchestration. The thing is, it used to call the topic, and and then whatever behavior in a topic, it used to do it, right? The problem with that is, let's say the user, right, he will not give the location or something like that, correct? If whatever he just says, I want what is the weather for Bangalore or something like that, right? So the thing is, it's not intelligent to ask the question itself. Whereas in the generative orchestration mode, let's say I create a tool called a weather tool, and I tell it invoke this when the user asks for weather information. The thing is, it is, since generative orchestration, the difference there is, it is intelligent enough to figure out what information it needs. Let's say give me the weather for whatever. I don't give the location. Give me the weather, I say, right? So it invokes that. It says, oh, I have to ask what is the location. If you ask the question, give me the weather for Bangalore, it is intelligent enough. It will not call the. It will not ask for that question. So in that way, most of the cases now is solved by generative orchestration. The way it works is, the orchestrator will depend. The orchestrator has access to the knowledge, the tools, everything available, right? So when the user asks the question and this is enabled, what it does, it will actually say, hey, you know what? It will create a plan and says which tool should I call, which knowledge, everything. It has a plan and does it automatically. And the main thing it saves is, you don't have to have a fixed flow, right? So that is one. But one thing bear in mind, right? There will be use cases where I need a predictable flow. I have to give these questions in a specific order for whatever it may be, regulation, whatnot, or stuff like that, right? In those cases, you can go ahead and use a topic. But most of the cases, generative orchestration will work for you. Yeah, you have to decide depending on your use case. Yeah, I think it was a very long answer, but I just convey the concepts there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that answered the question. And another question is in the chat asking, where are the models hosted? And can we control the geography and where the data is being stored for compliance purposes?
It's a good question. See, that this is all hosted in Azure OpenAI, but the thing is, it is not, it's very not very obvious to you. It is hosted in Azure OpenAI, right? So what you can also do is, you can also here you can see all these are actually hosted in Azure OpenAI in your region. You can also use the Azure AI Foundry models. Okay, so what you can do, I remember this also, it will give, I don't remember here because it's disabled, but typically you can use a prompt. In the prompt, you can also say, you can use the Azure AI Foundry model, right? So you can use your own model. You can have your own Azure instance in your own region, whatever region, right? And you can, let's say, you are not satisfied with any of these models. I want, maybe something else, right? Grok or something like that. So it's there in the Azure model directory. So in the AI Foundry, you can actually bring that model and use that also. So, I mean, one thing to keep in mind, Copilot Studio is a low-code tool. So there's usually they say AI Foundry is a pro-code tool, right? But there is, I think, one thing I just want to mention is, you can combine both. It's not like two separate words. You can use a model in Azure AI Foundry within Copilot Studios, because if you don't have the model you want here, you can use one from the Azure Foundry. The good thing about Azure AI Foundry is you can actually train your own model, right? Because based on the existing model, you can have your, let's say I have a specific domain, let's say retail domain data set, I want to train it, right? That custom model, I can use it in my Copilot Studio agent. You can, I think I would just give a takeaways. Can we do it both together, right? Is there a, in your use case, if it's a very simple use case, that's fine. You don't need to go, for Azure Foundry along with Copilot Studio. But whereas the examples I gave you, where the models are not there in Copilot Studio, you want to use some model, you can go to Azure AI Foundry, get that model, and use that in Copilot Studio. Yeah, and so just keep that in mind when you design a agent solution. I mean, you have both worlds. There's a way where you can actually combine both, right? Yeah, and I also told you, right, in the connected agents, the Azure AI Foundry agent also, you can use it, in your master agent, right? So it's still not, that functionality is not available, but that will be available soon. So, you can use the agents created not only in Copilot Studio, but also in AI Foundry. Yeah.
Perfect. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Jay says it was a very clear answer. And so next question is in the chat. So what are the main difference between parent-child relationship agent and a connected agent?
Yeah, that's a good question. See, basically, as I told you, right, it depends on the use case. The parent-child agent, everything is one deployable unit, right? Like I showed you initially, right? Power Platform Agent Squad. So you can host it in one CRM solution, dynamic CRM solution, and that you can host it across multiple environments, right? So the thing is, you're not using each agent independently. Okay. Whereas a connected agent, you can have the good thing about connected agent, you can connect to any kind of agent. Let's say when the full feature is available, I can have a connected agent, which is one is AI Foundry agent, right? The other is maybe a Fabric agent. So all that I can use it connect using the data. Whereas this one is more like a very lightweight, and a child agent is very lightweight, right? It's only within Copilot Studio. Whereas this connect agent gives you the functionality you can get agents from or external agents from Azure AI Foundry also. That is another thing you have to keep in mind. And the other thing is when you design your agents, the use case you have to think about. Whether how you want to give access to these agents, right? Like I gave you that example, right? It's the simplest one, the employee contract versus a permanent employee, right? So based on similar to that, we have to see, do you want to release all the agents? Because if you do it as a child agents, all the child agents will be accessible to anyone who uses the parent agent, right? Whereas if you want to control that part of it, then you will not give access to the parent agent if there are connected agents, right? You only give access to the individual agents, so that they can't access all the functionality, whatever they're not eligible to. Yeah. Okay.
Great. So we'll take last question, and so yeah, Pratish, go on.
Hello, sir. Thanks for giving the insightful opportunity to participate in this section. So right now I'm a pre-final year student.
Okay.
I participate a lot of hackathon, but Copilot Studio is paid one, right? So as a college student, I don't use much lot of us in Copilot Studio, but I need some knowledge about the Copilot Studio, like how it's work and practically builds. And then my question is there is any free version to perform the same function?
The thing is, Copilot Studio, if you have a work email address, you can actually, that's a tricky part. Yeah. If a work email address, you can get the trial for it, and for 30 days, and you can renew the trial. That is one. Yeah. I think try out, just think about, look for, I'm just thinking out, a Microsoft 365 developer account. Maybe I think it allows the not only the employee addresses, I mean, work address, you can also allow the other addresses. To just check that. I mean, I'm not sure, just check that. Can you get a Microsoft 365 developer account kind of a thing? And then, once you get that, you can use that, to get a trial license, the same email or whatnot for this one. Yeah, that's not tried it out, but I mean, you can check it out. Yeah.
Sir, and then second question is, so the N8N. So this also is performing the same function, no, sir. Even though we can send a mail without low coding, we can send a mail. So
I didn't get
same
the question. Can you repeat that? I didn't get it.
Sir, my question is very simple. So what is differentiate between N8N and Copilot Studio?
Yeah, these are different tools, right? N8N, it's more like a. I mean, I'm not working in N8N, but what I know, limited knowledge, I know it's more like you have like a graph kind of a thing. You just do that. You call the this one. These are two different tools, right? Say there are multiple tools. It's like some advantage here about the Microsoft one is it's in the Microsoft ecosystem, right? It can easily connect to all the Microsoft tools like Power Platform, like Power Automate and stuff like that, right? So it has that. If you're in the Microsoft world or stuff like that, if you're already using the other tools like Power Apps, Power Automate and stuff like that, I mean, it would be easier if you use the Copilot Studio, right? If it's something which is something different, the thing is, the good thing about the Power Automate, I mean, this Copilot Studio is you can call any of the Power Automate connectors and stuff like that, right? For any other external system, not only Microsoft, but the other stack too. Yeah, so that's the advantage. If you are in a different ecosystem and then, you can look at N8N and stuff like that. So because the pricing model will also be different, right? So, yeah, so it depends on your use case. So where based on your use case or scenario, I mean, that will differ. So if it was a Microsoft ecosystem, it will be easier if you go through Copilot Studio 1 rather than N8N. If not, if it's something else like open source or you want to try something out on your own, stuff like that, not specific to, then you can definitely take a look at the other tools like N8N. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I got it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you very much. And before we close, I think you can stop sharing now. Before we wrap up the session, it's just a humble request from my side. If any one of you can turn on your camera so that we can have a nice audience and we take a nice screenshot for our social post as well.
Yes. At the same time, you can share your LinkedIn, sir. Is that possible?
Sure. I'll just post in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Anyone can turn on your cameras just for a second or minute, not second, minute. Come on, guys, just for 1 minute. You're all handsome and beautiful, so
Don't be shy. There's nothing.
great. Yeah, there we go. That's more like it. Great. Come on, guys, please, for 1 minute. That's it. No? All right. Well, thank you very much who turned on their camera and who joined this session. And hopefully it was helpful and interesting. We have seen a couple of suggestions that we will host for basics of Copilot as well, which will cover how you can set up like your first Copilot agent. So thank you all for suggestions, joining and asking questions. And this was our, I think, third or fourth virtual one, and we'll keep hosting. So we have pinned, I have pinned my Bangalore Power Platform user group page. So please follow that. We will post all the updates there and all the future sessions and everything. And thank you very much. Hope you all have a nice weekend.
Thanks for your time. Have a good one.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.